Welcome to the second webinar for Clevy. I'm not sure how familiar you are with the brand, or maybe you're very familiar with assistive technology overall, but this is the second time that we are holding and hosting our own webinar. And so we are excited. We are joined here with a wonderful guest speaker who is Andreia Matos. Um, she is joining us from Portugal, and she's an absolute expert when it comes to AT. So we are very happy to have her. Before I start, I'd like to note that as it was also mentioned on the invite, the webinar is recorded and the recording will be placed on our website, which is clevy.com. And so if you think that it would be interesting for anyone, for you, your team, someone around you, you are more than welcome to share it. And we are hoping to host more webinars like this one, but every time on a different topic. I also wanted to tell you where we are joining from today. Um, I am personally joining from the Netherlands, and it is the same for Eric. And Andrea is joining us from Portugal. But if you would like, you guys can also let me know in the chat where you guys are joining from, and also how you came across the webinar. So I'd love to know that. Without any further ado, we can tell you a little more about who we are and about our organization. The company that we work at is called Alt, as an alternative, or the alt that you have as a key on the keywords. That could be because we create alternative products, and our designs are not for the everyday user or the typical users. They are meant to address alternative needs. While we work in different sectors such as medical or education, with our brand Clevy, what we try to address the most is the assistive technology sector. And that is because we would like to work alongside users who might struggle with any form of disabilities. From there, we design products, particularly when it comes to vision or motor impairment. So I think what makes Alt special is that all these products are designed with those users or with the professionals that work in that area. And just a little background information about Alt and our brand Clevy. It has been around for over 20 years. We are based in Groningen, which is a city, a beautiful city in the north of the Netherlands, where the weather has been really rainy today. However, who knows, it might be sunny in a couple of minutes. And now I can tell you a little more about the speakers that are here today. My name is Yasmina. I'm the international market developer at Alt, which means that I get to meet lovely people such as yourselves who know about assistive technology and who deal with the idea of how to approach accessibility and inclusion, and that is a privilege. And I'm joined here with my colleague Erik van Meegen, who is the designer and marketeer at Alt, and he is the person in charge of creating these great slides and this webinar for you. So props to Erik. And of course, you will hear more about her, but Andreia Matos is our partner from Portugal. She works at the company Adapt for You, and she is primarily a rehabilitation engineer. She will tell you about what she does in details soon. I can start with the topic of today. So let's start with online accessibility and what is digital inclusion. These are words that might sound like buzzwords and we hear a lot. When it comes to what it actually means, we might not have quite the right idea of what it could be. So online accessibility means including all users, not only the typical everyday users, but everyone when you are thinking about developing online and digital services. And that could be anything: softwares, apps, programs, and websites that you use on a daily basis are all included in digital and online services. So, online accessibility means that everyone is able to access these and everyone is able to work with them. As Alt, because we work on developing assistive technology to help people with alternative needs have access, this was something for us to consider. Now, if we move on to the next one, I can tell you a little more about what type of online and digital services are out there. The first thing that might come to mind when you think online and digital services could be websites and it could be computers. And that is totally correct. But if you think further, you can see that we use it in our everyday life without pause when we use an ATM machine, a public ticketing machine, any streaming app, online stores, online banking apps, and so on and so forth. So there are many things that we use on a daily basis that are included in the digital services, which means that everyone needs to have access to them because they are essential. We did some research in the next slide, a very recent study, actually in 2025, so this is not anything old, tested 266,000 websites and homepages in 18 European countries. So this is a vast research group that this was tested on. And it was tested to see how accessible they are and how they hold up with criteria that would include accessibility for everyone. And 93% of these homepages actually had a lot of issues when it came to accessibility and did not pass the bar. Usually, when these tests are done, public sector websites and homepages seem to pass better than other websites because they have regulations that make them that oblige them to have accessibility rules included. However, you would see in a retail sector that a lot of websites and a lot of online solutions or digital solutions are not made to be accessible. And that is a shame because a lot of people who might have alternative solutions also use them. Now, I can tell you actually what criteria was not checked off in these websites. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but just to give you an idea of it, since we work in low vision as well, so that means users with visual impairment, it is very much important for them to have access to websites where you can adjust the contrast. So that means to have different colors, because that could be important for people with different visual needs. You can have access to adjustable font. But in these websites, sometimes it wasn't even possible to find certain links, so they were not distinguishable. A lot of things that a typical user might search around and find very quickly are not accessible for other people. I can also tell you why this matters, because just in the region around us, as we are based in Europe, I don't know about everyone. Let me know if any of you guys are based outside of Europe. I'd like to know that. But just in 2024, about 24% of the EU population for people over 16 had some sort of disability that they struggled with. So that means about 90 million people, or 1 in every 4 people in EU, had this need. And after the study that I already mentioned to you, we realized that this was not met in particular. And no matter how much we think about how technology has improved, and it has, we have to keep into account what can still be achieved. Something that was also really interesting for me from a user with low vision is that he said some of the everyday tasks for him, it was at work, but it could be just everyday activities at home. There are many tasks that he would defer to someone else, not because he couldn't, but because it was so complicated for him because of his visual needs that it was simply too frustrating. So not only sometimes is it rendered impossible for people to go about their task, but it is also inefficient and time consuming if these solutions are not designed in a way to address everyone. So Eric can tell you a little more about web accessibility content guidelines and what it is that is actually required to be included in these solutions. He can tell you more about that.
Thank you for the introduction, Yasmina. So for the people who just joined, my name is Eric, and I also work for Alt as a designer and marketeer. And the research that and the study that Yasmina was talking about mainly focused on the web accessibility content guidelines. That is actually a few recommendations to make your digital and online services more accessible for people with a wide range of disabilities. The WCAG was published by the Web Accessibility Initiative all the way back in 1995, actually, and it kept being updated and updated as technology grew. So it is actually growing along with technology. Basically, what this exactly is it's a good way for you to test out whether your digital online surface meets the minimum required level of accessibility. So you might wonder, like, what kind of recommendations do they recommend? Basically, it's a couple of things to make your content a bit more diverse and a bit more legible and a bit more readable and digestible for many different types of disabilities. You can think about alternative text for images for when images are not visible for people or they're a bit too difficult to process. It can also be a good solution for people maybe like having a lack of like internet. And keyboard navigation is also something that many websites don't take into consideration. It's mostly for people who can't access their mouse. They need to rely solely on navigating with their keyboard. Having your text and content screen reader compatible, and that means that having your website structure be designed in a way where everything can be read through applications that have text to speech. And another thing that like many people might think now as a standard solution is having pre-recorded captions for your videos. You might think that that's like already a thing that many people are doing, but many videos still don't have pre-recorded captions or captions that are automatically generated. And as Yasmina already mentioned in the previous study, high contrast, especially like color contrast, and also text readability is one of the biggest issues. Many brands often choose style over practicality in this sense, and that makes the content suffer from being readable. And of course, the last one is responsive design. There are some websites that are still unfortunately designed in a very like old website builder that doesn't automatically include the responsive design, or maybe website designers fail to have that react to different types of devices. And many people don't realize that people often use internet mostly through their smartphones or mobile phones. Whenever you see a website that is beautifully designed on the computer, it doesn't automatically mean that you have users visit your websites because maybe your users find it easier to operate with a smartphone. Yeah, so since Alt and Clevy has a website, has many website viewers who might benefit from improved online accessibility. At the Clevy website, we try to add an extra option that has adjustable settings to change some content on the website. For instance, you can change the size of the text to make it a bit more legible for you. We have a wide array of high contrast settings where you can choose between high contrast or even negative contrast so that you can see which one is more legible for you. And another thing that's really interesting as well is we added a readable font that has been proven to be very effective for people also with dyslexia. It might be that like our standard font is not the ideal option for you, so you can also switch to a readable font. So yeah, you might wonder like why this is, we are discussing online solutions. I was also like talking about, is it mandatory or not? Well, this enhanced accessibility plugin is not per se mandatory, but some of the recommendations through the WCAG are actually becoming mandatory because since last year, there is a European law, which is called the European Accessibility Act, that makes it mandatory for many businesses in the EU to make sure that they meet a minimum requirement of WCAG level, which is WCAG 2.1 level AA. And you can find online what that exactly means for your like website. You might wonder like this applies to you. They have many rules of like to whom or to which companies it might apply for, and it is active since 28th of June 2025. If you already had an established company before that date, you have at least 5 years to comply with these minimum required rules. And if you want to know more about this, we recently published an article that goes a little bit more in depth about these rules and recommendations, what it could mean for your company. And we also kind of question what the impact it might have on the future of digital accessibility. So if you are interested in learning more about this act and about these recommendations, definitely go to our website and have a look at our article. With all of this, I hope that's a good introduction about why online accessibility is very important and how some of the digital applications or services might already have a challenge for many people with certain special needs to have access to these platforms. So that's why, of course, Alt and Adapt for You want to offer you a couple of like assistive hardware solutions for many people who might need it or might benefit from it. So yeah, without further ado, I would like to hand over the microphone to Andrea, who's going to introduce herself in the next slide.
Hi, thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for you are here and the invitation with Halt. It's a pleasure to be here. So I'm Andreia Matos. I'm a rehabilitation engineer in Portugal. I have a small company. It's named Adapt for You. Born 8 years ago, and we are a small company in a small city from north of Portugal. Is named Vila Real, close to Porto, but is north of the Portugal. I'm the CEO. We have other people with us, like a speech therapist, and we work a lot with AC, augmentative and alternative communication, and digital accessibility, like assistive technology, is our goal and our focus is these two areas. But we have other type of solution for education, for aid daily living, and so on. We do a lot of training in our company, evaluations, and we develop products and sell some products on these areas. And today I will talk about assistive technology. Almost all the solution that I will talk about is from Adapt for You, but other solutions is not from Adapt for You, but other companies in Portugal. I will talk about the market in Portugal. It's fine if in your country is not the same, but I think it is because the reality is very similar. So we can start in next slide. When we want to considering using assistive technology, normally we thinking to use assistive technology to introduce them when we have some normally motor disability or some cognitive disability too. When we have a person with involuntary movements like tremors or hand-eye coordination is bad, spasms, we need to use assistive technology. Or with limited mobility, people without arms or amputees, or with no mobility at all in the hands or arms, and we need to use other parts of our body to use or access computer or a tablet or phones. When we have fine motor difficulties to press the keys, to navigate with the mouse, or just need for more efficient access. I give my example. I use a vertical mouse, like my video showed that, or ergonomic mouse, because I have carpal tunnel syndrome in my wrist, and then I need to prevent other type of difficulties. So I use at the moment this type of mouse, but we can use other assistive technology, and this is okay because it's more comfort, is more easy to access the computer. So let's see what is assistive technology and some examples. We can see the types of access that we have. We have direct access and indirect access. In the direct, user directly selects that we want using touchscreen, mouse, keyboard, or other type of solution, but is direct. We don't use any strategy to pointing or something. In indirect access, we need to use some strategy or mediated way, like scanning, for example. We use switch. We will see later what is switch, but we need to use switch and a software that makes scanning in the cells or applications or text and so on. So let's start with trackball in next slide. Normally this solution is used by people that have some difficulty with the movement of the arm or the hand, but the person need to have some movement in their fingers, okay? Is just move the ball. The trackball is quiet in the table and just move the ball. Is important to have several models of trackball to evaluate sensitivity, because for some people we need trackball more sensitive, for people with low force, for people with neuromuscular disease, for example, but for people with tremor, we need trackball with less sensitive, because filters some tremors and helps with the mouse and navigate the mouse. It's important to have programmable buttons, because sometimes depends of our mobility in our fingers. We want to left click in the right side, for example, and it's important to program all these buttons. So it's important to have different models, and in the next slide we have some videos to show 3 different models of trackball, and each model has a purpose to each person. So in the first video we see a young boy with ataxia. They have, he had
Já temos 5 cêntimos e agora faltam
some
53.
tremors.
50. Uma moedinha de 50 aí, alguma?
E agora faltam-nos 3 cêntimos.
Probably some people don't understand what I said in the video, but we are help the young boy to find the money in the screen, his activity. And here we have a young boy with ataxia, with some tremors and some hand-eye coordination difficulties, and we need some with a trackball less sensitive in this case, because with the tremors, if you have a trackball more sensitive, is more tremors in the navigate of the mouse. So we need heavy trackball, and it's very nice to this guy. In second video, we have woman adult with cerebral palsy, and they have some spasms. We will see in the video that they can move the hand. Here is a woman adult to use a AAC system, a software for communication, with a keyboard on screen and some symbols for communication. And this woman was typing "I am Teresa is the name of her, and use other type of the trackball. And in third video, we have a young boy with a neuromuscular disease in a wheelchair, ventilated, and have a low mobility, just 2 or 3 fingers.
Agora tens que ir à seta.
His activity from math, and this guy needs this trackball, and we will program the buttons because at the moment left click is in the left side, but we need to have in right side because more mobility is efficient in the fingers of the right size, left hand, but right size. So it's important to have other actions in the trackball in the right side. Sorry, I have problem with left and right. So in the left side of the right side, the right side of the trackball. So in next slide, we will see the joystick. Joystick is other type of assistive technology, normally used by people with difficult to use normal or typical mouse. Normal recommend for user with fine motor difficulties, who requires control based on border and more stable with directional movement. Normally, we recommend this joystick for user that use wheelchair, electric wheelchair, that is comfortable with joystick to control the wheelchair, and then we use to access computer or tablet and so on. The advantage to use joystick is the possibility to changing the handle. Normally, I use a ball. In the videos, we'll see that a ball to use the joystick is amazing for people with difficult in fine motor difficult, and then for people can move the air fingers and always have the hand opened and so on. It's possible to connecting to a switch when people can touch the click on joystick. We can use switch for clicking. We will see a video too, and we have joystick with different type of clicking, like these two joysticks. In this video, child talking in English. He's a young child, 4 years old, of a disease that I don't know the name because it's very rare, but this child is like a robot. They can move their fingers, their arms. It's very, very difficult to access computer, and writing is very hard. So we prepared the child to writing in digital, in computer, and access computer with a joystick. Here we have a joystick with a handle and with a ball and clicks, mechanical clicks. In this video, in second video, you can play it, Eric, please.
Tinha.
Here we have a joystick with a ball too, because the user has difficult to close her hand. Is a adult, a woman adult with cerebral palsy too. So here we need to use a switch to click in the left click, because this user can make the vertical movement to click in the joystick, but just needs the horizontal movement, and then we can put the switch in the vertical to more easy and is more comfortable to them. This woman needs to AAC system too, is a keyboard in the tablet to communicate and to write in the tablet, and joystick works a lot. We need to change the speed of the mouse, because they have a lot of tremors, and it's easier to her with low speed at the mouse and pointing. So we need to make these changes. So in next slide, we see the goal was here, me adapt for you and halt, because is why we are partners, is because we have this keyboard with Alt. Clevy keyboard is a keyboard with large keys, and we can have the option in Portugal, just the option with colored keys, but Alt has a lot of products, keyboards and type of keyboards. The large keyboards are recommended for user with low vision or poor motor and height coordination, for people with dyslexia, for people with some difficulties in learning, and we have the color with the keys with the colors helps people find the keys more easier and faster. Is a simplified layout with few keys, a lot of keys like our typical keyboards. They have a lot of keys, and we normally don't use that so many keys, so it's very, very nice. The function that I love it is the enable key repeats, because normally I see a lot of users that can put the finger and press the key with 5-10 seconds or more, and then we have a lot of keys in the screen, and then backspace and clear more that we want, and is a very frustrative and person really as frustrated with that. And this keyboard is amazing, because when we enable this function, the person can press the key and stay the time that they want, and then put the finger out and then press the keys again. It's very nice. The fonts are clear and readable. It's very nice. Normally in Portugal we use only the uppercase keys, but the Alt has all solution, uppercase or lowercase. So I don't know if Yasmin or Eric can edit some information here, because your keyboard is yours. So I don't know if you want.
Sure. I mean, you did a beautiful job. What I can tell you a little bit about the story for Clevy, when this was the multicolored was the first version that was introduced, and in the beginning it was back then we were not yet in assistive technology, and we were in children's education, and we wanted to introduce a large keyboard. So I don't know if you can see that from the picture, but Clevy keyboards are quite large. So each of these keys about 30% larger than a regular keyboard that you will have, and each of the letters is 4 times bigger than what you will have, just to give you an idea of how large the keys are. So when we first introduced it, because of the color coding and the readable font and everything, it was a solution for kids to start to learn how to type. And then because of these large keys, we heard more and more that people with visual impairments started using them. And because they have a larger surface, it meant people with tremors and people with lower dexterity can also use them. And then it slowly started turning into an assistive product, and we started adding features to make it more suitable for people with different types of motor impairment or visual impairment. Just to give you one of the examples is that for Clevy keyboard, now we are on the third version. That's why it's Clevy keyboard 3. So for the Clevy keyboard, one of the features that it has now, we developed it because we had a user that had numb fingers and could not feel whether or not they were pressing something. So they couldn't understand whether or not they had pressed a key on the keyboard. So you see the two LED lights that are on either side of the keyboard. With the feature that we have now added to the keyboard, you can turn this feature on with a shortcut. And every time you press a key, the LED light goes on. And that's how the user who couldn't feel will know visually that they did press something, just to have some feedback because of that. So also when talking about giving more access, it's all the little things that we need to usually think about, because it's the user that might have a certain condition that can tell you exactly what they struggle with, and then we will say, oh, so maybe this is a feature that we can include. So that was just a little story of how Clevy Keyboard started as an education product, and then later on turned itself into an assistive product. But yeah.
So nice. Yeah, we love this keyword, and I fell in love in RiaCare 2 years ago, and then we started work with Halt and with you, and it's very nice. It's news all years. This here is Clevy Keyboard 3, but in this year in Portugal we'll have other new with this keyboard, and then we will wait to see what is the news. So in next slide we have some videos. First video is mine, is from a young child with cerebral palsy to type in keyboard with their occupational therapist.
Boas. Já metemos a letra grande. Oi. Espera. Faz outra vez. Isso. Boa. Já está. Olha, meteu. Já só falta. Boa. Isso. Boa. Boas. Fácil. Boas. Fé. Já está ali?
Férias.
Boas férias. Olha, ponto final. Ponto.
Boas férias.
Beijinhos.
Yeah, this is a great user of this keyboard. Like we see, her put the finger on the key press during some time, so we need to have this function to enable the repetition of the key, and works very nice. And this child use a keyguard that we'll talk about later, but as using with other assist technology is touch screen and with the software, so works very nice. This keyboard is Bluetooth keyboard, but prefer use the cable, and it's nice too. So this videos is from yours, so go on.
Yeah, so before we actually show the video, I can tell you a little bit about the story of this little girl that is here. So her name is Lotte, Lotte, and Lotte had Down syndrome, and she started with the Clevy keyboards, and her goal was to not only learn to type but also to communicate. And so when she started, after some time that she worked with the keyboard, she was then able to type her name. And here it shows her, she did have some fine motor skills and coordination issues. So it was difficult for her because of the tremors and coordination to press the right key. And sometimes she would press it a few times. And but eventually she learned. So let's have So that's how she actually came to start using the Clevy keyboards. And the last time we also heard she has been continuing to use it. And the next one, also I can tell you a little more about that one, is about a little boy called Michael. And he is on the spectrum and non-speaking. And so when he started with the Clevy keyboards when he was younger, it was also the color coding that was very interesting for him, and he used it alongside other assistive technology. But her mom sent us the video with also her voiceover, so you can have a look.
This keyboard is wireless and comes with color-coded large keys, but what's more is that all the keys are in lowercase. I'll explain why that's important in the video captions below.
Okay.
Good job.
F again. Good. J. Good. F again. J. Good. And F. F and J. Okay.
F.
Good. J. Good. Good. J. Good. J. Good job. F. F again. See? Good. And then J. Good. F. Good.
So I just wanted to also show you like the range of different people that might meet a similar solution, and which feature matches them the best. But before we go on, if at any point you have any questions, please write it to us in the chat while everyone is talking. I will also try to type out the answers. And yeah.
So here we have the keycard of the keyboard. It's very important for people with motor skills difficult, who need extra guidance, for people at spasms and don't type involuntary keys or press involuntary keys. And it's very easy to put the screen on the keyboard. We need glue, screws, and it's very, very nice because the acrylic is matte. We can see all the keys, and it's very, very nice to use it. And it's very important for some users. If we don't have the key card, it's very hard to use the keyboard. So it's very, very important to use it. So in the next slide, we will see a video to show how easy is to put the key cards.
So a lot of times what we see with the key guard and when it's used also with this keyboard that I will tell you about is that some users, because of muscle weakness or because of tremors, they cannot hold their hand up while they're typing. So they need to rest their hand on something while they're typing. And while resting their hand, press the keys like that. That's why a key guard can be important for some people so that they have support when they do that. And also it allows these individual houses to each keys, because when sometimes people, such as people with Parkinson's disease, have tremors, they might press in between the keys or on the accidental key. And then having these individual houses to the keys allows them to press on the correct one because there is a home per keycap. And so for this other keyboard that we have at Alt, because for our Clevy keyboard with the large keys, there are a lot of users with low vision that were using this already. We thought, why not have a keyboard for users with low vision that they wanted to be just in the typical size of the keyboard, because Clevy keyboards are very large, but sometimes users with low vision still want that contrast in color, but on a smaller scale. And that's why we developed the clear keys. And for example, a good feature of it is that usually if you have a laptop in front of you or any typical keyboard if you have in front of you and you turn on your caps lock, it's probably in green or light blue. However, when we showed the green and light blue to some people with low vision, they said that they couldn't see the light. They couldn't recognize it. So for caps lock, num-lock, or any LED light that you usually have in the keyboard, it's important that it's in a color that they can recognize. And what can be more different than black and yellow? And when we showed them the bright red, they were like, okay, now I can see it. Now, it is not the same for everyone because people can have different needs, but this is just a how we can help the majority and also then get feedback to how we can include others. And with this one, also the keyguard was needed because a lot of times this keyboard used with people of older age at work. So other than low vision, they might have some sort of motor impairment where they need to rest their hands on the keyboard again. And I can give you an example on the next slide. So this is Cleo. She is from the US and she is a film student with cerebral palsy. And she had been using the ClearKeys keyboard at school already, and her teacher recommended that she also uses that at home. And she was using it because she didn't need the larger keys like the Clevy keyboards, but she still wanted a keyboard with a keyguard that she could rest her hand on and still offer that contrast. And she was then kind enough to share, just to give you some idea of what range of conditions can these solutions then be helpful for. Yeah.
So now other type of assistive technology, we have here the switch. Switch is suitable for user can perform a single voluntary and consistent movement because normally we have people with low mobility and just can move one arm, one hand, one finger, just the head or just our foot, and we need a product that can make the access of computer with a single movement. So we can use switch. There are various types of switch. Need for an interface. Later I will talk about this more. And normally we use switch for cause effect activities, for example, or scanning in a computer or mobile phone, our tablets and phones as scanning included. We just need a switch. So in next slide, we'll see the type of switches. We have a lot of switches. I think is the assistive technology with more models and different types because we need to worry about the size, sensitive, like we have mechanics that is the most used switch, like Big Red or Jelly Bean. Certainly these names is common for you because they are the switch most used in the market. This type of switch, we can hear the auditive feedback, and we have motor feedback when we click it. We can change the top with other colors and so on. We have low force switches, is for people with low force mobility, for people as low mobility in the arms, hands, fingers. We can just put my finger on and no force to press that. We have switch voices. It's work with our voice or sounds. It's great for people with with no mobility at all, but as a big problem. They can activate by any sound, any voice, any noise, and it's very difficult to stay in the place with no noise at all. So it's very hard to use this type of switches. We have high impact with for people who they are more aggressive in the touch. We need a switch very resistant. We have a switch with proximity for people with low precision. We just put our hand or other type of our body close the switch. We don't need to touch it, but we just close it and it will work. This switch, for curiosity, is developed in Portugal. Is a new switch with a company named Foxy, is our partner too, and it's very nice because I really like Portugal solution, of course, and we're proud of that. And we have a breathe switch, so we can breathe for the switch, and switch can activate in the computer. So in next slide, we'll see information very useful, because in my days, normally I have schools or people that buy switches and then call me and tell me that switch not work in computer or tablets, and I have a question. Okay, but you use the interface? Oh, what is the interface? I cannot turn the switch on the computer, connect directly? No, we can't, because the computer and tablet and the phone need to know what is the switch and what we do with switch. We will do the left click, right click, a key of the keyboard, and this interface is like a pen, like we see in the image. We can, oh nice, Mafalda said we have this on school, nice. In this interface, we connect in the tablet or the computer, and then we have some places to connect switch, and these connections will programmable, and we need to say, okay, I do the left click in this connection is for right click or a space key or enter key, and so on. And then we can access the computer and tablet. It's very, very important, okay? We just don't need an interface in a Bluetooth switch or wireless switch or for adapted toys, okay? We connection directly, but for tablet, for computer, we need an interface. So in the next slide, we'll see other type of switches like Bluetooth, like I said before, and wireless. Normally in wireless, we need a receptor like this product, white product, and the green product is a switch. We need a receptor to connection by wireless. And we have a Bluetooth, normally connects by the Bluetooth with the phone or computer, and then we can use the scanning of the device. For curiosity, this switch is developed in Portugal too. So in the next slide, we'll see some videos, yes, from some users. In this first video, we have a young boy in a wheelchair, I think has cerebral palsy, to use an activity of cause effect, because normally when you use switch, it's very hard to the child understand scanning. So we need to use with cause effect to understand that, oh, I click in the switch and something happened in the tablet or in the computer. Then when learning that, we pass to the scanning. So you can show the video, Eric, please. Is an activity with music, is a Portuguese music for child, and normally we use a lot of this type of music that can press the switch, hears some seconds of the music and then stop, and then press again to here's more a few seconds of the music. In second video, we have a child from Vila Real. Is a child that I know from baby. Is a child with a syndrome, rare syndrome, is Chaff-Yang, and affects their motor abilities and cognitive too. And then we need to use a switch here with a website is Corujabu. I love this site because have a lot of activities, cause effect. It's very hard to find this type of activities, and this website is very nice. It's free, and I really love it. And I have some activities with animals, and we press the key, the switch, we hear the animal. Please show the video.
Muito bem, Joaninha, muito bem. Sim, senhor.
So this switch, it's very sensitive. We see the girl press the switch with several fingers, and it's very nice. And in third video, we have a young boy with cerebral palsy. They have a lot of spasms. So yeah, Mafalda, yes, I will put in the chat quickly. It's a great website, so everyone love it. So third video, we have a young boy with cerebral palsy with a lot of spasms. So we in the arms, so we can use the arms, and we use the only movement, voluntary movement is by foot, and then we put the switch on their foot.
Boa. Relaxa. Outra vez? Vamos lá? Mais um bocadinho? Boa. Relaxa. Deus, não tens que fazer muita força, só um bocadinho. Vamos lá? Boa.
Here we have some training because switch is not easy to use and understand it. Here I explained to the boy we need to don't beat a lot of force low force and take your time. And then when he clicks, I said to him to, okay, so move on your foot, go back, and then click again. Sometimes it is the only movement that we have, so we work with it. So in the next slide, we have other type of assistive technology is for people with no movement in the arms or legs, but have movements. So we need to good postural control of the head, and normally we use a dual click, so we move the mouse for the place that we want to click and stop a few times, and then is automatic click. It's important, this type of products. In Portugal, we have these two brands, Quasono and Empatia. Normally, we work with Empatia. And it's important tilt, not rotate, because some free software that we have in the market use rotate the head. And when we rotate the head, I can see my screen because I rotate from the left and I can have the screen in my front. So it's very hard to see the information of the screen. So normally this type of products, we use the tilt. So tilt to the left and tilt to the right, and then I can see the screen at all. So it's important because free software use a different type of interaction, and then it's important to say that. So in next, from here I don't have any video, sorry, because some type of assistive technology is difficult. Lipstick mouse is the one of the news of this year. That for you is a lot of news this year. And the lipstick mouse is new from this year because use mouth movements for people that don't have head movement too. No movement in arms or legs, and head too. And we can use our lips to navigate with mouse. Just smooth lip movement. We don't pretend hard movement. Normally this product has with an articulated arm that we put in the table or wheelchair. They have a training software because it's very hard. I am I have to say it's very hard. I try it, and it's very hard because our lips are not going to be trained to be used to move the mouse. Okay, so we just move the mouse with our hands, but with our lips, it's very difficult to our brain to do that and send information to our lips to do that. But with training, everything is possible. And for clicking, left click and right click, we just to have a touch of lips, touch in the top of the product with the lip is left click, and in the bottom is right click, and it's very, very easy. It's a new, so I don't have any videos with users. So in the next slide, we'll see a PCI is not our solution. We don't work with eye movements. But it's a great solution. It's a solution for people with no mobility, and normally used with movement of the eyes. We look to the screen and move our eyes, and the mouse can move the mouse. We can customize the click normally with blink or dual click too. It auto detects abroad. We can use outside with sun, and is compatible with other assistive technology like switches, for example. I really like this solution, but it's very hard to use these solutions too. So people can be exhausted to see this using this solution, and it's very hard to calibrate them. So it's very nice for people with sclerosis, myotrophic palsy, and then but normally we can use it. But in Portugal is very used this solution. Okay. In the next slide, I present you my baby, okay? Because I created this software, so for me is my baby. Just for curiosity, I am in rehabilitation engineer, and I stay in this area because I had a cousin with a disability. She had neuromuscular disease and lost their mobility during some years, and then she had no mobility at all. She has ventilated and so on. So she can't access computer. We try all assistive technology, but no one worked with her. And in my thesis of the master, challenged me to create a software and a solution for her. And I'm thinking, okay, no one work, what I will do. So I'm thinking, okay, she communicates a lot with us with facial expressions. So why not use this facial expression to communicate with the computer? So this software works with all other facial expression, with smile, with kisses, with tongue out, anyone what you want, and then we can connection with a function in computer, like smile can be a left click or right click or in keyboards. Is like switch, is like switch, but instead of a switch we have a facial expression. We can save 3 facial expressions, so we have a 3 different function in the computer. We can use scanning to navigate in the computer, or use cause effect activities. This software is very nice because it's only software in all Europe. We have other software similar in USA, but it's very nice, and I think it's a different solution, and yeah, my cousin approved that, but unfortunately she died and don't use a lot of this software, but other person use it now, so it's very nice. So it's the reason that I'm here in this area of assistive technology. So move on. In the next slide, we present other assistive technology, because we have a lot of assistive technology. In this webinar, we focus more assistive technology for motor disability, but it was a lot of, there are a lot of assistive technology for other disabilities, like screen readers for people with low vision or blind persons, audio description or subtitles for people with deaf people, wireless microphones, text-to-speech for people with dyslexia, for example, amplifiers for low vision, blind lines for blind persons. So it's other worlds, other webinar, and we can talk about everything now. So to close my part, in next slide, I will say the phrase that I always use in my training is, for most people, technology make things easier. Like us, we have in different countries at the same time to access this webinar. But for people with disabilities, technology makes things possible. And this phrase has so many years, but I think in this time, we don't think like that, because normally we forget the technology, or we have afraid of technology. I talk a lot with the teachers, therapists, and so on, and sometimes, oh, I don't know use that, so I never use. No, please, because technology makes things possible, and fun is turn things happening to people with disability. So I think is a great phrase to close my part. Thank you.
I am sending you a lot of digital applause from the Netherlands to Portugal. That was thank you, Andrea, for the very, very thorough pitch on different solutions for people with motor impairment. Like I did tell you, she is an absolute expert on the topic and has been working in this area for a long time. And so thank you very much, Andrea. And I hope, I am wondering, did you guys also learn about something new that you didn't know before? Because I think if you're here, you might have a background and know a little more about assistive technology than the everyday person. But I want to know if you guys also have learned something that was new to you. Let me know in the chat. But before we close, I saw that we had also a question, a good question from one of you guys. But let me know if you have any other questions as well. Um, but the question was, do you have any device models that failed during testing sessions, and which ones, and why did the idea fail? We definitely do. I know that at Clevy and Alt we do, but before I respond to that, I wanted to ask Andrea if you had previously seen or came across some ideas and product designs that didn't actually go through, or it started and then changed into something else fully. And do you know more about that?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, because my internet cuts you?
No worries. So
Sorry.
the question is, are there device models or maybe designs that failed during the testing sessions and didn't actually make it into a full model in the end? Because I know that you developed your Smile Access for the thesis, and I wanted to see if there were other ideas that didn't make it, and why.
Yes, we normally we tested a lot of solution, because when we thinking it's easier that when you can make it. For example, Smile Access, we start with databases of smileys of the all world, a lot of people of all world, and comparing with the smile of my cousin, but never work. And I think, oh, why? Because it's one type of solution that we can program it. But then I thinking the smile of my cousin is different, because she can move their a lot their muscles, so the tongue is always out, so it's very different to other smiles. So we need to change everything, and then we need to take a photo of the user and then comparing with themselves. So it's important to pay attention to these details, to work with that. And I work a lot with 3D printing too, and develop a lot of solutions for 3D printing. And it's very nice because we can do everything, but we need to design and design again and change the model and print with some materials, but it's not resistant, and print with other materials. So it's a process that take a long time, take a lot of work. And in Portugal, we don't have a lot of companies that develop solutions. We have this company that I talk with during the presentation. Foxy is the only instead of that to develop solution for assistive technology. So It's not normal in Portugal. We develop a lot.
And so that is very true. Sometimes you start with another idea and then it changes a lot. So sometimes it's just the idea that changes. Like for us, for the ClearKeys keyboard, which was the black and yellow keyboard, before when we first started it, we were developing it with people with low vision. And then every week we would have a meeting with them and show them the new version, the new prototype of the keyboard. And then they would tell us, is it a good one or a bad one? So in the first one, the keycaps, the yellow keycaps, were very close to each other, but they would get a sea of yellow in front of them, and then they couldn't recognize the keys from each other anymore. So we thought we would make the keycaps a little smaller, so then you have a yellow keycap and some black space, yellow keycaps and black space. So there is some separation and their eyes can recognize that. But also sometimes full products, full ideas don't actually get to be made and get scraped off or saved for later to see if we can use it. For example, for the Clevy keyboards, I know that we had some questions that people were saying, what if we wanted to cover some of the keys so that the user that is using it doesn't have access to certain keys and they only have like some parts of the keyboard available. And we thought, so that could be a good idea. Why not make some sort of cap for the keyboards that we could put the caps on the keys and then they didn't have access anymore. And then because a lot of children use the Clevy keyboard, we thought, okay, that could be a choking hazard. So simple as that, that idea was scraped off. And later we thought, oh, what if we use this idea with the key guard so the cap is actually attached to the key guard so that they cannot actually take it off and swallow it. So that's how sometimes the idea gets fully scraped off and it's a no. And sometimes you try to use it and still transfer it into something else because the base of it is a good one. But I hope that explains the question to a certain point. And also let me know if you have any other questions and we'll stay for a couple of more minutes just to make sure that all your questions are answered. But other than that, I wanted to thank you all. I hope that this was useful to you. And I want to thank Eric and Andrea as well for joining this evening. And Eric, would you also now be able to then stop the recording of the webinar? As I said, the webinar will be saved on our clevy.com website, and it is available for you guys to watch it whenever or send it to someone who might need to know more about